Hello and welcome to The Sorting Hat, the show where everything and anything can and will be sorted in the various houses of Hogwarts. I, as always, am your host, Michael Barryte, joined by my co-host, Reed Brice.
'Tis the season!
'Tis the season indeed. All I want for Christmas is you, Reed.
Well, too bad.
I know. Because today we're joined by Reed.
He's very jealous.
We're joined by Reed's boyfriend, Drew Kordik. Who has such credits to his name as editor for Tim and Eric, and he also has a show, This American Drew, which you can view on the YouTubes. Drew, welcome to the program.
Ho, ho, ho?
Oh, I like the question mark at the end. It makes me want to know more.
Well, and it's worth noting, when Drew was saying, all three of those hoes are different hoes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one an exclamation, one a tool, and one a slur.
Oh, I thought that was going to be like the buffalo
It's
sense.
sort of in that vein,
Okay.
yeah.
I love the idea that one of those hoes was an exclamation. That's what you think, the how excited I'm capable of getting.
Yeah, but it's really
It's not far off, probably.
This episode is a little bit of an oddball episode because we were like, Christmas things actually goes sort of back to the initial inception of the show of it just being Reed and I riffing on random things and then having a guest and like you're palling along for the ride because we're doing Christmas things. It's not necessarily like you're not an expert on Christmas things as far as we or you know.
I'm not. I'm
I like that you said that as though like you were like, qualifying just in case he actually is an expert, and we were going to get somebody in the comments be like, excuse me, have you seen this episode of This American Drew? He very
could have been
clearly
holding
knows
back.
everything.
He could have been holding back, and all of a sudden he's like, the facade is lifted. In fact,
I mean, like, I don't. It's actually kind of weird how little I like Christmas because it definitely it totally matches my aesthetic. Like it's like the color scheme, the candy,
The camp.
yeah, like I love all the kitschy. You know, it's super tacky and horrible. Like I should love it, but
as a Jew, I love Christmas.
Really? Oh, really?
I cannot wait for Christmas music to start playing. And there's like very few Christmas songs that I get mad at.
yeah.
Oh man, well, this just shows that you just said you can't wait for it to start playing on that one. What's that one radio station? I think it's like 103.5. This is great. This is garbage information for anyone who's not in the local California area. Like on the day after Thanksgiving, they start playing Christmas music year round, month round. I'm a hot mess until Christmas, the day after Christmas.
Sure. And
So-
I'm not mad at that sort of thing.
What about you, Drew? Do you like Christmas music?
I think if you look at any Christmas song and if you like took away the Christmas aspect of it, would anybody listen to it? With the exception of maybe a couple, like maybe that Mariah Carey song and like stuff like that. But like,
Yeah, because that's basically my national anthem.
they don't stand on their own merit. The only reason we're playing them is because of this pagan holiday that the Christians co-opted.
Whoa.
But Christmas music aside, we are going to be going through a long and extensive list and sorting them into the various houses of Hogwarts.
Oh, and Drew's a Slytherin.
Oh, yeah.
I took the quiz and I am.
Yeah, I didn't even ask him, though. I just knew he was.
I had the vaguest sense that might have actually been the case.
Yeah.
But
He's too gay not to be.
what is that supposed to mean?
Slytherin's the gay house.
Is it really?
In all my years, that's not what Reed has the widest grin on their face right now. Like the widest.
Which house is the gay house then, Michael?
I don't think that like there's necessarily a sexuality that it.
I mean, Hufflepuff sounds like it should be the
Hufflepuff-
gay house.
Hufflepuff is polyamorous. there'd be the one who have like the polyamorous couples in it.
Look, we're not sorting sexualities. We're sorting Christmas
Gryffindor
things.
stay together for the kids.
We're sorting Christmas things.
Ravenclaws are incels.
So just like the way Christmas be a comin', let's start
Like
with
the Slytherins.
let's start with advent calendars.
Oh yeah,
And then we'll slowly like work our way toward the actual day through
a
our
really
things.
sweet thing to note. Drew's mother bought me an advent calendar and she hasn't met me yet.
Oh, that is relatively sweet.
A really sweet thing to note is every year my mom gives me an advent calendar and I get really high and eat it all in one sitting.
He's already done it.
So an advent calendar is, like, for me, for the longest time, something that was really foreign because,
Yeah.
like, in the Jewish culture, we don't have it, but it's basically a countdown clock to Christmas, full of little kitschy candies or like stocking stuffers, maybe some toys. I know now they've actually created a whole industry around advent calendars that can be very, very specific. So, like, there are dog or cat advent calendars that, like, each day is a toy for your animal.
Right. There's also this year we had advent drama when there was a YouTuber named Zoella who tried to sell an advent calendar. And it was full of like really cheap shit like you usually get in an advent calendar, but she was charging like $60 for it.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
It was
Thanks,
it had
Twitter events or whatever they do.
So yeah, it's in the news. Everyone's talking about it.
I mean, this to me, without deep diving too far, unless there's more to say on advent calendars, I feel like this is a Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I would say so because basically, yeah, you're just like, I'm not even sure what the religious context is for it. Cause
I don't think there's any. I think I'm pretty sure it's like another one of those just traditions that probably comes from some like Eastern European thing, and it's just kind of been integrated into everything else.
Nah, I gotcha.
Like putting a tree in your house, which I'm assuming we'll get to later.
The argument could be made that it's a Hufflepuff because of the tchotchkes that one does receive, but I think from a systematic countdown level and that it's Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I would say I've never had an advent calendar that wasn't like just the cardboard with the little pieces of chocolate in it.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a good one before.
Me neither. I mean, I've seen the ones that are like, you know, I know my parents have one that like is like a cloth thing that has little pockets in it, and every day you move like a little Christmas mouse. So there's stuff like that.
cute.
But the ones I'm most familiar with have those cheap chocolate in them.
Yeah, you're getting like Russell Stover at best.
I don't really have a stance on Russell Stover as like
a
chocolate.
No, Michael, what is your opinion on Russell Stover chocolate?
I don't know.
Now's
Do
your
you like
chance
it
to
or
get
do you
on
not?
the record.
I don't think that I've ever actually had it.
You can't not take a side about this, okay? It's 2017. What is your opinion of Russell
there's
Stover
no more
chocolate?
Why do you have to
Centrism, there's
do
no
this
more
to me, Reed? Why does everything have to instantly be a black and white issue? Oh, God, I don't want to pick a
call you out on Twitter later, okay? What's next?
Christmas music.
Oh,
Christmas music, holistically speaking.
Okay, so decontextualize. I fucking love it, and that's how I know that it's Hufflepuff.
I mean, I think
I get wet for Christmas music.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, everybody.
I think there's certainly also the fact that it is like played in all of the stores and everything as soon as Thanksgiving is over. And in some cases, I actually went into a Home Depot while we were ramping up to Halloween, and Christmas music was actually playing a little bit. And I was like, this is
my
very
favorite
foreign.
subgenre of Christmas is the Christmas music designed to bum you out, like the Christmas Shoes song. Have you ever heard that song, Michael?
I don't think so.
It's a country song because of course it is. And it's about this kid who goes into a shoe store and like it's a narrative song, and the kid's like, I want to buy my mom a pair of shoes for Christmas. And
That's sweet.
And the store clerk's like, oh, okay. And like they either don't have enough money or there's some reason to ask like, what? Where's your mom? Like, oh, she's dying of cancer.
That's in the song?
Oh my God.
I think so, yeah. If I'm remembering it right, but it's something like that. Somebody's dying. And so like the kid somehow like gets a massive discount or gets the shoes for free or something.
That
It's like a Lifetime movie that's just being described by a country singer.
I like that we could have talked about any of the many raucous, wonderful, uplifting Christmas songs, and Reed, you were like, you know what? We didn't get enough notes from the time we did Bible stories, we need to like really upset the folks who take Christmas very seriously.
I'll go. What's another example?
Here's the ones
I
that
saw Mama kissing Santa Claus. That's either a story about
That's
adultery.
sexy. That's
Holly
not
Jolly
a sad
Christmas is like a great one.
Mhm.
There's simply having a wonderful Christmas.
I was just about to say that like I distinctly remember being in grade school and the bus driver playing that song like every morning, and I'll get that song stuck in my head just at various points throughout the year as a result of it.
Ba 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 ding. Like it's so everything about it is wonderful and kitschy, and I love it so. God, I love that song. For the longest time, I thought the Holly Jolly Christmas song, and my roommate Alex can like verify this, I thought it was "Have a Holiday Jolliday Christmas." For the longest time, I thought it was Holiday Jolliday, and he's like, "That's not a thing."
I wish he never corrected you.
Of note, the song "White Christmas," the one that I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the one I used to know. That was written by a Jewish gentleman named Irving Berlin.
A lot of Christmas music has been written by many Jewish songwriters.
Especially if it was written to be in a movie musical from a while ago. That's a pretty good indicator that it was going to be written by somebody not Christian.
That's the one Christmas song that I can actually like get behind. And would listen to, and probably, although I think I did confess to you the other day that I listened to DJ Doug Pound's version of Up on the Housetop year round.
Yeah.
But I would listen to All I Want for Christmas is year
you know what?
round, so.
Other song Mariah Carey sang but did not perform? This Christmas by Faith Hill for the Grinch movie.
Oh, This Christmas You Gave Me My Heart
No,
the very next day. What?
This Christmas.
There are a lot of songs I'm realizing
Have you never
just
seen Jim
use
Carrey's
this
The
Christmas.
Grinch?
No, I've seen Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Why did you think that the last Christmas
Because
was in
when
it?
was the last time that I've watched Jim Carrey's The Grinch? Answer, not recently. Speaking on movies, sorry to interrupt
It's
you,
okay,
Drew.
I was interrupting you.
For the longest time, I was obsessed with I think it's White Christmas in the Santa Claus. The doo-doo-doom, doom, doom.
Oh, with the really deep voice guy doing it?
Yeah, like, and it's got that doo-wop lead in, and it's as they're pushing in on the Denny's because Tim Allen and his son, like, have to spend Christmas in a Denny's before they kill Santa.
Why is Tim Allen in multiple, like, family Christmas movies when he's a cocaine-dealing snitch?
He went to
He
prison
was the
for that.
family man for the longest time, like Jungle to Jungle and all of that, like, he was Tim the Toolman Taylor, so it was the Atomic Family and all that.
When I was getting to know Drew and I was cyber stalking him even before our first date, one of my favorite things that I discovered about him was he fooled a lot of people into thinking he worked for Tim Allen.
For like a long stretch of time.
Why was Tim Allen the one you went after?
So I was working on this show that I'm not going to plug. But I was working on the show, and
it's a competitor for us. Thank you.
we were shooting right down the way from where they shot Last Man Standing, Tim Allen's conservative show, kind of sitcom. So I took a bunch of pictures of me like on the set, like pulling into parking spots with the signage, the Last Man Standing signage, and I just started this really like mundane Facebook presence that it fooled a lot of people because like I didn't really make it that funny or extreme. I just lied through my teeth and said I was working for him. This all coincided, and I was gonna escalate it to this point where like I was gonna basically like stage a fight between Tim Allen and I via text, but then the show got canceled while this elaborate social media thing was going on. So I had to work that into my lie, and I had multiple family members calling me and saying that it wasn't my fault that the show got canceled. And
oh dear.
It was the most proud that my family has ever been of me because I was working on a show that they had heard of and that wasn't marketed towards 13-year-old potheads.
And I think that's when I realized like that I was going to be attracted to you because I also do bits that like nobody else understands and just takes at complete face value.
I can confirm this.
Yes.
We've already said that Christmas
follow me
music
on
is a
Venmo, everybody.
is a Hufflepuff.
Mhm.
Let's move on to Christmas tree lights, or like house decoration lights.
Oh, we can probably like lump in Christmas tree lights with it too.
Sure.
We're not yet sorting Christmas trees. Don't worry, folks.
No. Those will get their moment in the sun.
This is just lights, not decorations.
I think we can group them holistically.
Yeah.
Or is that going to really upset the balance? Because I think
I don't know.
I mean, I don't even know the differences between the houses. So
Well, there
anything
That's all right.
goes on my
you
end.
just give your opinion on Christmas things and look pretty for the listeners. I think they're Ravenclaws.
Ravenclaws?
Because they are a very sensible solution to a very dumb idea that people had and still wanted to keep doing. Because Christmas lights used to be candles that people would just put on a tree inside of their house. And
yeah,
then,
that's dumb.
and then potentially like go to sleep with them still burning and stuff.
I mean, it's dangerous to even put Christmas tree lights on a tree because those things dry out. And that's a fire hazard in itself.
And I don't know. There's something about the competitiveness of those Christmas tree Christmas light people who do like the displays in their houses.
Right.
That feels very Ravenclaws, like when Ravenclaws are trying to have fun.
Oh, you're thinking it of like the Ravenclaw sort of ego one-upsmanship that sometimes comes.
Yeah, I would say so.
And I mean, if you're properly doing it, it's a situation where like there's a lot of planning that goes in.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I can see that. And I will say there is a great delight growing up, like right around my neighborhood, there was a series of blocks that every house would just like deck it out with Christmas trees. And this past year, I was actually fortunate enough to like go back and visit a friend who was still kind of living in town, and he and his girlfriend like led us all around there, and it was so much fun just to like, it's like a weird thing because you don't think of communities really coming together for anything anymore.
Yeah.
But like this whole like 3 or 4 blocks, like they all the families were like out and just like hanging out on their like porches or like on the sidewalk or like barbecuing stuff in the evening, and we just were like going and checking out all these cool Christmas tree lights.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
Did your family celebrate Christmas growing up, or do
No.
decorations or anything?
No,
or?
I am a Jew through and through. There was no Christmas tree. I only first decorated a Christmas tree my senior year in high school because the girl I was dating at the time was Christian. And that was my first experience with like tinsel is really frustrating. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I can see it in your eyes, like you going back to that traumatic moment.
It doesn't do what you want it to do.
No,
I don't fucks with tinsel. Sorry, tinsel fans out there. I just say put the lights on, maybe a few sentimental ornaments from your childhood, and
But
then
let's
don't overdo it.
But let's get to that Christmas tree.
Hell yeah, I'd love to.
All right. So what is the origin of like why a pine tree going into the house? It's sure you have some explanation.
Definitely pagan tradition of some sort. It's got to be.
It has pre-Christian customs to the 16th century German initiation of the Christmas tree. Because like a lot of people say that it was that the origin was Martin Luther dragging the tree into the house, and he's like, "This is evergreen, just like my Christianity."
Ugh.
I'm pretty sure that's like the basic story. But let's see here, because it's kind of a lot of people are like, well, we're not sure if that's
Talk
true.
about like going over the top just to prove a point.
So the use of the evergreen wreath in trees, like they say that it was a custom of the ancient Egyptians, Chinese, and Hebrews, and there was tree worship. Was common among the pagan Europeans and survived the conversion of Christianity and the Scandinavian customs of decorating the house and barn with evergreen the new year to scare away the devil of setting up a tree for the birds at Christmas time. So you're exactly right, Drew. It was an ancient custom that was appropriated by Christianity when they were trying to be like, your religion you already got. We got this stuff, but with other things. Come check out this guy, this Jesus guy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say I love the smell of pine.
Yeah, the smell's nice.
The smell is nice. I have to imagine, though, the cleanup is abysmal.
Yeah, and that's why most people I know opt for the fake one now.
Mm-hmm.
You can even get like gaudy, awful, like bright pink ones and stuff.
My grandmother actually keeps her tree up year round, her fake Christmas tree, and just month to month will decorate it with things representing that month. So like in February, she'll put like paper hearts and stuff all over it and stuff.
Cute.
Yeah, I think it's just because she just doesn't want to take it down. But
I'm assuming that it is a fake tree, yeah?
yeah.
Because it would be Charlie Brown, like sad level Christmas tree. If it's year round, it's up. It's just really wilted.
Otherwise, how long is too long in your opinion to keep it up after Christmas?
I think the general rule of thumb is the same rule of thumb that applies to pumpkins, which is probably 2 weeks after Halloween, that thing has to come down. Because otherwise, it is weird.
Well, I grew up in a very Catholic household, and we wouldn't take down, like, almost like very like with pride, and not like my dad was always adamant about keeping the tree up until the Epiphany, which is when allegedly the three wise men came to
when is that?
visit Jesus.
We're into Catholic stuff I don't know about.
It's January 6th, I think.
Whoa!
So,
this is how bad of a Christian I am. I thought they found Jesus on the night he was born.
No, they had to follow. See, so Jesus came out of Mary, and then the star was in the sky, and the wise men.
We'll get to sorting
followed
him
the star.
later. So you guys keep him up. You keep it up like a full week and a half,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
After Christmas, it gets to be like January 1st. I'm going nuts. Why is it up?
The Christmas tree itself, I think we're also sorting it in a decorated sense, correct?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, no. If you go into someone's house and they just have a plain tree, a full tree in their living room, that's weird.
It's like a psychopath.
Yeah.
just the lone tree is crazy. If it's decorated, sane.
What are you talking about?
Conforming to social norms. Okay, the tree itself probably falls into Hufflepuff or Gryffindor.
Well, I would say there's nothing particularly like brave about hauling a tree in. It's really dorky. We're gonna have to be careful not to give the dork bias too much credit.
Oh no, see, I argue that it is Gryffindor because this is a strong commitment you are making because you're taking a tree in your house. That is labor intensive to both procure and dispose of the tree, and there's a ton of labor around just like the decorating process.
I guess I can see that.
I guess it depends on what kind of tree we're talking about. If you're going out into the forest and you're cutting, or to the lot and you're cutting a tree down,
right?
That might be a Gryffindor.
And I think actually because we have run the Twitter poll on our at sortinghat_pod that decorating a Christmas tree, I believe, was sorted as a Gryffindor.
Oh, really? Well, you know what?
I can double check that, but
I'll trust you.
So is it worth sorting any of like ornaments or stockings or anything like that? Like,
we can do two different things that are decorations,
Sure.
But are edible. And I just think people will be angry if we don't. Candy canes, and we can just do also peppermint flavored things in general.
Okay, yeah.
Candy canes are shaped to look like the little staffs that the shepherds had.
Is that why?
Yeah, they look like shepherd's crooks.
They do. It's just that's never something
but
that
they also
occurred
have
to me.
the functionality of that they'll hang themselves on the tree.
Right. That I think is a secondary, right? Or no?
I don't know. And then they weren't I don't think traditionally peppermint flavored, but it's just kind of become the synonymous flavor to the point that if you get one that's not, it's weird to me.
Yeah, how about those rainbow ones that taste
they
really,
just taste like candy. Or I've had ones that were spicy before, and I got really upset.
I am incorrect. Decorating the Christmas tree, this was a tweet that we put out on November 10th of this year. 37 people voted. 59% said that it's a Hufflepuff. 16% said it's a Gryffindor. 17% said it's a Ravenclaw. And 8% said it's a Slytherin.
I think it's just because it's so much. When you decorate a tree, you're like trying to load in usually as much stuff as possible, and it's just really tacky looking.
Mm-hmm.
From a design standpoint, it's just a lot going on. Your eyes don't know where to go, and you usually have things that don't necessarily have anything to do with each other if you're like an ornament collector. So you'll have like your baby's first ornament next to like a stripper on a pole ornament that you got in Fort Lauderdale. You can't talk about that story, but you got the ornament.
Right. I can see. Okay. Yeah, I get that. Okay, so peppermint, shifting back to peppermint and candy canes.
Yep.
So it's based off of the shepherd's crook.
Yeah, because they used to sell those sticks that were just stick shape, and you can still see them sometimes. They talk about Laura Ingalls eats one in the first Little House of the Prairie book when they go into town.
Mm-hmm.
She gets really upset that she's not going to get one, and then I think the shopkeeper gives her one or something like that. So I remember reading that. So it's at least as that old.
Mm-hmm.
And then they shaped it like the little shepherd's crook for the baby Jesus, who we'll talk about later. I'm gonna keep hyping Jesus.
Do you have a like idea of where candy canes go?
I'm gonna say it's a Slytherin.
It's a Slytherin. Is it because of the commercialization and how like every Jelly Belly flavor has been thrown atop it?
Oh yeah. I would say that's part of it, but also it's encouraging children to eat the ornaments on the tree. That just makes me think of a baby eating one of those glass bulbs. I don't like that image in my head.
Oh God!
Where did you?
I know that's weird, but I just imagine like someone be like, "You can eat that one off the tree," and then the baby be like, "Okay," and then grabbing the wrong ornament. That's terrifying. Maybe I just shouldn't have children because I'd be too scared all the time. Nobody else has ever made that connection.
No, and I'm the person who we did irrational fears on.
You get the connection is because you're worried that the child, this hypothetical child, might grab an actual ornament instead of a candy cane.
I'm just saying that it's encouraging the children to eat off of the tree.
I think the good parent, at least, is going to simply put the ornaments higher than the child can reach.
My opinion's normal.
Who is this kid? This dumb kid?
I'm not. Listen.
Reed, did you eat an ornament as a child?
I have a scar on the roof of my mouth I'd rather not talk about.
Understood.
I was wondering where that came from.
Understood.
I am of average intelligence. Moving on to peppermint flavor.
Right. Well, before we do directly move on to peppermint flavor, I will say that crushing up candy canes and making peppermint bark is incredible. Peppermint bark
is, oh yeah.
That's because peppermint and chocolate are amazing together. I think it might have been our friend Lee who said that she didn't like it, or somebody who said like mint and chocolate.
But she's wrong. She is wrong.
Yeah, it's
you
objectively
think she won't murder
good.
You? How dare you come for her?
I'm not coming for her. I'm just telling her that she's wrong. But yeah, peppermint bark is incredible, and my aunt makes this like dark chocolate peppermint cake where it's like crushed up peppermint atop this like rich dark chocolate fudge. Just it is incredible. So you get like some crunch when you're eating this like super rich chocolate. It is incredible. Also, in general, she's just like a fantastic cook. She makes this apricot jam that's like to die for.
Go to Michael's aunt's house.
I want to meet that aunt.
Yeah. Thanksgiving's over at their place. Really good.
The other flavor of Christmas that I think people would be upset if we didn't talk about is gingerbread. It comes in men and house variants.
That's true. I think gingerbread is a Gryffindor.
Explain.
It's not as divisive as perhaps like some of the other flavors associated with Christmas, but it's still bold. It's got a degree of bite to it still, though, as it is like ginger,
right.
Or at least in origin. But then like it's so versatile. It's both in a cookie form and in like an architecture form.
Architecture form?
I don't know.
I do know that things like gingerbread or mincemeat or even candy cane, you'll notice like they all have very overwhelming, very powerful flavors, either in like these essential oils or in spices. And that's because this was the time of the year, even way back then, that people didn't necessarily couldn't afford to use them all the time. That this would be the time that you would bring out your spices if you had them, if you could afford them.
It was like a luxury.
Yeah. And so that's why there's even like, in the case of mincemeat, you're like, why does anyone like this? It's because back then it was like, oh, you got to have any flavor in a food dish. But for gingerbread, also, can anyone tell me, I defy you to tell me the difference between a gingerbread, a molasses cookie, or a ginger snap.
I think it's crunch level, right?
All right. Well, I guess you just did that very succinctly.
My familiarity with both is limited, so I'm going to defer to Drew and say he's right.
See, that's the thing is if gingerbread, anything is good, but you got to get that right. You got to get that right consistency. It's got to be. It can't be too hard and crunchy, and it also can't. If it's mushy,
oh god, no.
Forget it.
A mushy like crackery cookie sort of thing is a rough gamble.
Mushy, but yeah, but I wouldn't say I don't want to apply that to all cookies because like a mushy.
No, I suppose biscuit is more of what it is.
Thank you, because I will eat a mushy Chips Ahoy in a heartbeat.
Like a chewy Chips Ahoy.
No, like I will put it in milk.
Oh, and
I will
let
it just fucking disintegrate. And I will drink it out of the milk.
I
hate
do that too.
Ew, you're both gross.
No, it's so good. Also,
delicious.
the one that you should do is take the Trader Joe's crispy crunchy chocolate chip cookies and like throw a shit ton in the milk and just like that is you want to just like take that out with a spoon.
Yeah, it's like cereal, but probably way more unhealthy.
Yeah, and it's probably it's probably better than Cookie Crisp is for you health wise. Though.
Yeah,
like that's the unfortunate truth. Is Cookie Crisp is probably the most sugary of,
but you don't get much out of it.
No,
it's like you might as well be eating like a sugary
sawdust.
Yeah, exactly.
Did we sort gingerbread?
Oh Lord knows we didn't. I mean, I threw out Gryffindor, but
I would probably agree with that.
All right then, moving on. Let's keep food stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
What is the deal with fruitcake?
Oh,
I don't think I've ever even seen one in person.
I don't think I've eaten a fruit cake.
It's exactly what I was talking about earlier. In addition to spices and stuff, the only way a lot of people of the lower classes got any fruit is it would be dried. And so this is a usually like I want to say like a pound cake sort of situation that's going to have a bunch of nuts and dried fruit in it. And a lot of people don't like that anymore.
My only exposure to it is through usually like family comedies where they're complaining
the trope of nobody
about
wants it,
the fruitcake, and yet it is still a thing synonymous with Christmas. So at some point, all right, that makes sense if we're going historically. And I don't.
And I can't imagine which house anyone would associate with everybody not wanting it and it getting shit on all the time, but it actually being pretty fine. It's a Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff is fruitcake. I am fruitcake.
Yeah, you are.
Read Brice. And
Stop waggling your eyebrows at me, you gay Slytherin.
Okay. Jumping back, or should we stick with more food stuff? Eggnog.
Ooh, I love the eggnog.
I love eggnog. I think Reed knows this about me, but there's certain word combinations for foods that actually keep me from putting the foods in my body. Case in point is a cottage cheese. Just it sounds disgusting. I don't know if it tastes good or not, but the name alone will keep me from eating it. Eggnog should be something that makes me gag just even thinking about that word combination together, because egg and not like it's just two gross words together, but it's the most delicious flavor.
What
in the
I
history of
will
flavors.
encourage you to do in regards to approaching cottage cheese.
He's gonna fix you in cottage cheese right now.
Take some slices of pineapple and put them in the cottage cheese.
That just because like I can picture what that looks like in my head, and that would make me go even further
I
away
assure
from
you,
ever
though,
putting that in my body.
It takes the more chunky consistency of the cottage cheese, which does
We're gonna have
have
Rippers vomiting on air.
It admittedly has a not bitter, but it's a more
It's but for me it's the name. Like cottage cheese just is a disgusting
Is it because
sounding
it sounds
combination.
like almost like curdled?
Yeah, it
I
sounds
mean, it's
like something you'd
curdled
find
cheese that-
under like
You know
your
what makes me
shoe.
think
Curdled
of?
cream.
Somebody going up to like a house and like stabbing the wall and cheese chunks falling out of it.
But I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
growing up as a kid, I loved cottage cheese with pineapple chunks
Nah,
in it.
man, salt and pepper.
Just what?
Salt and pepper cottage cheese is the best.
I don't know. I've never incurred.
Hell yeah.
What?
Throw a tomato on that bitch. You got a meal.
Oh,
I've not heard of this. I'm gonna have to try it.
It's like beloved by old men in diners everywhere.
Ah.
which is what you are.
Thank you.
You just know the way to talk this one.
Eggnog.
Eggnog. What are we sorting?
Listen. You got to be careful though, because there's the spiked eggnog, and I don't like that one.
Okay.
What kind of alcohol do you put in
You're
eggnog?
usually putting rum. One of the most disgusting things I've ever had in my life though was when my cousin made me drink Jim Beam flavored eggnog, and it tasted exactly like gasoline. It was like pre-mixed. You bought it at Costco in a gallon jug.
I think most pre-mixed drink situations like that are going to lead you astray, however. But if you're purposefully concocting your eggnog, you're going to have a lot more control and be able to season appropriately.
What
Okay.
even is eggnog?
It is okay. Here's the thing. I'm gonna say it's a Slytherin because it's got raw eggs in it, and most
Mhm.
people don't know that. So that's like a sort of like a what? And then number 2, it's incredibly difficult to make. Very, very hard
Isn't
to
it
get
like
right.
I don't really know its construction, but it's like frothed egg whites or something.
Yeah,
like
kind
that.
of like that. But I'm pretty sure if I'm not speaking out of my ass and like just thinking of the wrong thing,
We
you can-
frequently are.
Just like with a custard or a meringue, you can like you said, you can mix it incorrectly and you'll just fuck it up.
Mhm.
Because you have to like do it like over the stovetop and you have to like do the constant stirring. And
I suppose in that regard, it would actually maybe make it a Ravenclaw, that it requires some serious chemistry to get it done. Or you could just go, it's a Slytherin because it's so complicated.
And I would say it's probably a Slytherin because it's so polarizing. People either love it and make no apologies for it, or they're like, get that the fuck away from me.
Who doesn't like eggnog?
I know
I've-
lots of people.
I've only had it, I think, once, and the single time that I had it, it was spiked.
Mhm.
And I'm not somebody who is like, yeah, let's get drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
So it immediately was like, the bite's too much.
I know some good stuff. I'll bring you some.
Yeah, just go get some, kid-friendly eggnog. I bet you'll love it. If you love gross things like cottage cheese and pineapple, you'll love whipped egg whites.
All right, so should we stray into sort of the icons of Christmas?
Hell yeah, all the big stars. Mariah Carey, let's go.
That wasn't what I was going for.
Madonna.
We haven't really talked
Michael
about
Jackson.
Saint Nicholas.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about him.
I mean, and I'm talking conceptually Santa
Now,
Claus.
you're talking, okay, so this is where my Central Europeanness comes out.
Okay.
Because I used to get constant shit for this when I was a kid, but St. Nicholas and Santa Claus are two different people.
Oh,
What?
And there's a Slovak and I think German and Russian, that whole area of Europe where on I think it's the 16th of December, children will leave their shoes outside of their door, and St. Nicholas will come and deliver treats. It's kind of like a pre-Christmas thing.
The conflation, if you know, Santa Claus and St. Nicholas once were two different individuals, the conflation and also the way that we now see Santa Claus as the icon with the red suit,
Mm-hmm.
it is all encapsulated in one single poem. It was the night before Christmas
Mm-hmm.
because they call him St. Nicholas and Santa
Yeah.
in that poem. the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas and All Through the House, that one. They also, that's also where the Coca-Cola executives got the description of him in his red suit and like his rotundness. And they used that poem to design the Coca-Cola Santa, which then fucking caught wildfire
It
and
is
like is now how we
crazy to
see
me
him.
that Coca-Cola is such a juggernaut as far as iconography for Christmas.
Yeah.
And they have 2 winter-themed like mascots, both in the form of that like classic Saint Nick like profile drinking the Coca-Cola ad, but then they also just have polar bears.
Right.
But think
as-
about this. Think about this. This is why how you know this is fucking some actual black magic. Coca-Cola managed to not only invent what we know to be the image of Santa Claus, but they got us fuckers to drink soft drinks in the wintertime.
Mhm.
Like that was a fucking whoever ran that campaign got a raise, is what I'm saying, because that's amazing. That's like against all odds kind of shit.
Yeah, it's very the marketing team behind Coca-Cola. While I don't drink soda, my hat is eternally off to you guys because no, I'm so thoroughly impressed at every ad campaign that Coke runs. It's astonishing. Like you look at any print ad, any just like going through the ages. It's
Can we talk
wild
about
stuff.
the phenomenon that Christmas time is the time that you'll see Christmas ads that were shot like 2 decades ago? They're like there are ads running right now for Christmas that were like from before you were born.
Like the M&M ones stick out in my mind.
They do exist. And then
Yeah.
the Santa Claus one where have you seen that commercial?
I'm sure I have growing up if it's been existing for 20 years, but I don't pay for any form of anything that would have me watching commercials.
That one is most likely running to this day. Also the Corona beer one where it's the Christmas lights on the palm tree. That one's been running for like 25 years straight.
Mhm.
There's also the Campbell's. I know Campbell Soup runs one where like the little kid. It starts as a snowman that's animated walking into the house and it defrosts into a kid who eats the soup.
It's terrifying.
Oh, it is terrifying. Look it up. It's very bizarre.
I'm just stoked for the fact that those actors are still presumably getting residuals.
Oh, I hope so.
That's exciting.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah, they booked that one national commercial and they've never had to work since.
But as for Santa Claus himself, Slytherin.
I mean, I couldn't.
Really?
Okay, let's talk about it. First of all, he forces a whole fleet of people to work for him, presumably for no pay.
I don't
We
know
never
that
talk
they're
about it.
forced. I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
there's
in
What-
every
there's no
representation of
indication.
it, they always seem pretty happy to be making toys and stuff.
What is Santa Claus's income? Where is he getting the money from?
I mean,
Magic.
he has he has
Okay.
magic reindeer,
All
so
right.
all bets are off as far as understanding what the economy is in the
two-
North Pole.
Yeah.
Number 2, he breaks into people's houses.
No, he's let in. People let him in.
He's kind of like a vampire in the fact that if milk and cookies are left out for him, that is an invitation.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I definitely grew up poor. We didn't leave that stuff out all the time, and
I hate to tell you this though, Reed.
what?
This is Santa Claus isn't real?
What?
Yeah, so all those times that you would like go down and there would be presents there, it wasn't Santa who delivered that. It was family members who would do that. Like,
Do you think this was the appropriate time to tell them this? Like on the air?
I mean,
But then who was?
He's
who's
just
reading
kidding. He's
who
just
was-
kidding.
Who was reading my letters?
what?
Who's
just-
reading my who? I just sent my letter off. Who's reading my letters?
Probably nobody read your letters because you can't
Are you
send
fucking
letters.
kidding me? Okay, well I'm just saying. Okay, why would you? Listen, I was trying to say make a point like he's a criminal, but you're trying to tell me he died.
No. He didn't die. He never lived.
Reed, come back. Well,
I feel marginally bad about that.
you should. I mean, I don't think that was a kind of an unfair position to put me in too, because now I got to carry the show a little bit more.
Right.
Now that
and you
Reed's
don't-
gone, and I don't know anything about Harry Potter.
It's okay. Reed knows the houses. But on to other Christmas things, because we won't sort Santa. What are your thoughts on the Jim Carrey Grinch movie?
I remember liking it when I was a kid. When I think about it now, the makeup really kind of terrifies me. I loved the animated version.
The animated one
Yeah.
is exceptional.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the perfect length.
Oh yeah, totally.
I never
Totally.
watched any of those claymation ones. Did you ever? I mean, I assume if you grew up in a more religious household.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one I remember watching the most was the Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Which one is that?
That is that's basically just the history of Santa. You're watching Kris Kringle in his early days and how, he became how he rose to become Santa. And there was also the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which was also a good one. They played those every year.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Santa question for you,
Yes.
actually, because my best friend growing up was Jewish, so he told me that Santa wasn't real, like really, when I
Gotcha.
was young. So I knew like before
Mhm.
most of my other Gentile friends. Did you spoil Santa for? I mean, the way you just did it for Reed, it almost seemed like this is like your thing.
I don't have a long-standing history of spoiling Santa for people. This is actually my first time, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Growing up, as far as like iconography of like character iconography, and I may have talked about this on the Jewish Holidays podcast, but we within my family, my father's father, when Hanukkah would happen, would come in as Uncle Hani delivering gifts, and he would always have a topically related or like attire
Right.
for that year. So like when the Olympics happened, he was wearing like the toga and laurels and like carrying a torch, but also carrying presents.
Yeah.
Or like when elections would happen, there'd be like some political slant on things.
Yeah.
Which was always very weird.
That's way more fun than Santa, I think.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, it's a bizarre thing in retrospect, because like, you know how you when you grow up, you assume that your family's activities are the norm.
Yeah.
Like, I for a while thought that everybody had like their grandfather
Uncle
doing
Hanny
an
or-
Uncle Honey sort of thing, and they were like, that is strange.
Yeah.
Strange thing.
Okay, motherfuckers. All right. Tell me how this is possible if Santa Claus is not real.
Okay.
Every news channel in America at Christmas time will run a report where a kid catches Santa Claus on camera. And they will run it, and they won't show something on the news unless it's real.
You know what, Michael? I think Reed's right about this. I think
Yeah.
I think you've been proven wrong.
You
Look it up.
You got me, Reed.
They run it on every legitimate news station.
Yeah.
You're right, babe.
Thank you.
I really just have egg on my face, I guess.
You
Eggnog.
Ha! Look at that. Look at what Drew was doing there. Look at him bringing it back around and really just spelling that. Oh.
Let's talk about Jesus Christ.
I thought you guys didn't sort
We don't
fictional
sort
characters.
people. We don't sort. Jesus Christ.
No, don't say that. Okay. We're gonna get letters. We're gonna get letters from the faithful fans.
Send them to Drew.
I can already tell you.
I'll live on your hate.
Okay.
Steven is going, like, Steven, one of our most diehard listeners, will definitely be sending us a corrections.
Listen, Steven.
And maybe Josh.
I'm gonna
like
have
Steven and Josh.
Steven and Josh. We're gonna close out the episode. We're not gonna war on Christmas. We're gonna make sure we end it right, talking about the actual Christ and Christmas.
But we don't sort people, so.
But I mean, you know
But
what?
it's a baby. Babies aren't people.
The baby Jesus. How about the baby Jesus in the nativity?
Right.
Like the
Okay.
like the clay
The icon
nativity.
of it?
Yeah,
So
the icon as an icon.
The nativity scene itself, the baby Jesus with. I mean, we can just sort the nativity, right?
Okay. So Mary was Mary a teenager when she was pregnant?
Probably.
I just think that the story of Christmas is so fascinating if you just like decontextualize it from the religious part of it. It's a teenage mother who is a virgin. She and her partner are traveling through the desert, are homeless, and she goes into labor. And they go to this inn. They're like, "Oh, you're not coming in here. But you can use our barn, I guess." And then she gives birth in a barn. And then I guess a week and a half later, they're still hanging out there.
Yeah,
you said these royalty.
I mean, think about
members of royalty are
just
like,
hospital stays. Like once pregnancy happens, you don't immediately leave the hospital.
These three members
they
of
were
royalty
in a barn for a week.
Come and say we have a fucking prophecy about your baby. Here are some gifts that are very, very expensive and rare for the time.
Which, actually, the thing that I'm now kind of caught up on, and I've never thought about this, is, and none of us are necessarily experts on this, so I'm just throwing it out to the ether, but this prophecy, or what was it that really guided these three wise men outside of a star? Like, did they?
I think an angel. I think
Yeah,
the same angel that whispered in Mary's ear and got her pregnant.
And to the shepherds too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of tells you, Christianity is about the wealthy helping the most unfortunate.
Which, if you look at modern Christians, it's still happening.
Yeah, that's exactly what modern American Christians, especially the ones who affiliate themselves with politics, are doing right now.
There was the Passion of the Christ. Is there a baby Jesus movie?
Oh man, that would be tight. Like Steven Spielberg should make a baby Jesus movie. I actually
believe, if I'm not mistaken, there is a Jesus story that's coming out in theaters relatively soon, but it's all animals.
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
it's just all about the manger animals.
I don't think it's like the manger animals. I believe it is the story of Jesus as told with like animals in the various roles. And I can double check that.
That's bizarre.
My mom would think that was sacrilegious.
Just because she doesn't like animal movies. Not necessarily anything to do with like the religious part itself. She boycotted Babe.
Yeah.
I always wonder why we never see any movies or like a lot of interest in Jesus from the age of baby to when he was an adult and started getting his followers. Because there's stuff in the Bible about him when he was a kid.
Well, I think the common theory is that might have been a time where Jesus wasn't Christ-like. You know,
is that what they say?
I think that's the idea. Like there's also a lot of lost verses in the Bible. There's, like,
does that have anything to do with like the Catholic like age of reason thing?
Possibly, I don't know. But I mean, that is like kind of a glaring. There is this glaring gap. Like he is in one chapter, like 10 and is like preaching in a temple. And then suddenly he's like 32 and has, 12 dudes following him around.
Yeah, and I always think that's wild. And we won't get too far in the weeds of it.
There's some theories that he, in this, I don't know how this would work because planes didn't exist. But there are like some conspiracy theories and stuff that like, in my like I like that he actually traveled to the East and got a lot of his Christian philosophy from like Eastern teachings and stuff like that. Like, and that's why you'd see like kind of a crossover with some of the, Buddhist principles and Christianity.
Oh, that's wild.
But I don't know how
that'd be possible.
Like, I don't know how he'd like travel to Asia from the Middle East.
I will say though, I love the nativity story and like the Christmas story. It's just like a story that like you just help out your fellow man and like there are cute animals involved and that's all I need.
So where are you sorting this?
Gryffindor.
You're sorting it. You said that with like the slightest like waver in the voice.
Well, the iconography of a lot of the Gryffindor stuff is about like you know,
Mhm.
redemption and stuff, and there's a lot of Christ-like symbology
Mhm.
involved in Harry Potter himself. So
Right.
it'd be really weird not to.
But that's, I mean, if you look at Jesus from like the Joseph Campbell like hero's journey approach, I could see
Mhm.
why you could relate it that
But
way.
even
But
like Jesus is the boy who lived, you know,
Mhm.
Right,
by
right.
all standards, he should have died in the conditions that in which he was born. He was born a literal barn to a teenage mother, and I think that's like the thing about it. It's like no, like not only did he live, but like people were literally like drawn to him.
Mhm.
So I would say Gryffindor.
Knowing as I mean, I know a fair amount, but most of it is just appearance and conjecture on like all of that. So I will defer to you as far as the sorting goes. And I feel like we've sorted the vast majority of what was laid out. I'm not sure if there are any other things that you feel.
Stockings. It's just a big sock. You put stuff in it. That's a Hufflepuff. All right, got it out of my system.
All right. Anything else? If not, I would like to thank you, Drew, for coming on and helping Reed and I sort some Christmas things.
thank you for having me.
We can find more of you at This American Drew on YouTube.
It's such a good show. It's on Highland Park TV. They're a public access TV station channel, and they do a lot of really great like experimental comedy. And This American Drew is fantastic. I happen to be in. I sing in the episode on the All Right.
Yeah, and the season finale is coming up. And I don't know when this episode's dropping.
Probably on Christmas.
Okay, well, it dropped a couple days ago. If you go to facebook.com/This American Drew, you'll be able to find that episode and others. That's our big drag competition
Drew becomes a
episode.
drag queen, everyone. If you love drag as much as I do, you really got to check this out because it's really great examination, not just of like drag culture, but it also is about Drew getting reconnected with his queer identity. And I think that's really important.
You can find more from Reed Brice at That Dang Dingus on Twitter. You can find more from me at Belated Media on Twitter. We would absolutely love if you would leave us a review on iTunes or just tell your friends that they should check out this podcast.
Yeah, tell us if we blasphemed anything or if we missed anything fun for Christmas that we forgot to sort.
Yeah.
Otherwise, God bless us, everyone.
Merry Christmas, guys.